All right. What's up? Welcome. Glad to have everybody here. So yes, Eric, I did take your recommendation, your suggestion. I'm always, like I said, anybody who's on the Discord server, if you guys have a particular topic or thing you want me to discuss on stream, the best way to get that information to me is through Discord. So tonight, we have a very special guest. We've got Daniel. I'm not sure which he'd prefer. I should probably ask him that. But we have Dan Holliday with us today. Holliday. I keep saying Holliday. I grew up with a Halliday in high school, and ever since then, and I actually live in a place called Halliday. So it kind of messes with me. But Dan Holliday is with us here tonight, and he's going to be giving us a bit of his perspective on the impact versus damage game in the finals, which I think I'm pretty sure he watched the live stream that we did after the event and made a comment about wanting to know who was fans of Damage before they played their first game. So I'm glad we have quite a few Damage fans in here. I know I'm a Damage fan myself. I've loved Damage ever since 2012 and watched a lot of their scrimmages using the faded DM12 and a lot of those guns. I actually only wanted to get the DM12 or the DM13 because of Tampa Bay Damage, because they made that gun look so good. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Dan into this call here, and we're going to get started. So it's a pretty casual stream. We're going to watch the game together, and we'll stop and talk about certain things. And if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. If you are curious about certain points in the game from his perspective, this is a very interactive stream, so feel free to comment and chime in. So here we go. Dan, welcome. How are you?
Hey, what's up, bud? I'm doing well. I'm looking at your YouTube right now.
Not good. Oh, hold on. There we go. Okay, a little bit of technical difficulty. I don't know why it switched my scenes, but welcome. So yes, as you may have heard, I just introduced you, and I'm super grateful to have you here with us. So I think
Did not hear.
I think the easiest thing for us to do would probably be to just watch the first point, and as I said, stop, and just if you have anything you want to share, feel free to let us know. But I guess the first question I want to ask you going into this first game is how confident were you guys feeling going into this match based on what you'd seen Impact do up until this point?
The first game, as in like first game, because we're just talking about the finals game.
Yeah, we're just talking about the finals. So before you play that first point.
To be honest, I don't know. I've always been the type person that's, whether it's fake or not or whatever, just like I've always said, like I'm gonna write the book, The Power of Not Caring. Because whether you have to trick yourself out or not in your own mind, other teams scream and chant and jump up and down. Anybody's ever seen me at a paintball tournament, you never see me scream up and down, go crazy. And yeah, so I just went in. Me personally, I'm level-headed and overly confident. No, not overly confident. Validated on the last one. Maybe overly confident the last couple of years. Yeah, no, just the way that things are rolling and the way that things are going throughout the whole tournament, and then the practices we had beforehand was not. There wasn't a question about it, and it was. I mean, of course, winning matters. Winning is probably the only thing that matters, but it was a big deal for us to play like our entire roster. Like, I think if you've seen like I think Joey, I don't know if they've ever. There was a lot of people like videotaping like Joey's speech or whatever at the end. Like nobody's done this in like 10 years, and they probably mean like whatever. Damage hasn't won in 10 years, and what he meant is like high-profile pro teams, and us included. We got into like a rhythm towards like, no, you're just gonna play your best five, your best six players over, back to back here and there. And this time we just said that whatever, didn't matter one way or another. We're not gonna. No reason to have people on our team that are gonna sit, especially when we got a lot of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we're not gonna be able to grow like our younger boys. Or I say younger, all of them are legit players and now validated. Chris Horn is a ridiculous player, and that's probably like my happiest moment about this whole outcome is that Chris Horn and Lackey and maybe and Mike Warring's always been dangerous, but I think this may have been like their first pro win, which
That's
I mean,
awesome.
that like validates you, and that's like the biggest part about being a pro is just the sense of belonging, like to know that you belong here. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, funny enough, I I actually spoke to Chris Horn's mom at the
Huh.
2021 World Cup, or no, it may have been 2020. It was yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 2020. We were in the VIP section, and she was saying, "Oh, that's my son playing for Tampa Bay," and she kind of told me a bit of his story. And so I think that's awesome that you guys gave him spins and things like that. And then, again, he's got his first pro win within a
Yeah,
couple years.
50% of the
So
spends. 100, like it was literally line one, line two. Like he contributed just just as much as everybody else. Like 50% of the time he was playing, I was playing 50% of the time because I played on line two. He played on line one. Uh, yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
all those guys, nobody sat ever.
That's awesome. What was the reason you decided to make that change as a team to play, your entire roster?
Well, again, like well after and for the last people like say like whatever. I mean, it's true. We have not won the last like say 3 or 4 tournaments. Our tournaments were years where we knew we had like a strong roster. And I think like after my personal opinion is like after Sunshine Series and us losing to Dynasty again by 1 point, lost to them at World Cup or yeah World Cup by 1 point in the semis though, and then we lost to Edmonton Impact by 1 point the term before. And at a certain point, we're like it seems stupid. We're like, why would we have these players in this team? Why would we be paying these people for just number if they're not going to play? And the last thing you want to do is like give people, somebody that's been sitting there for I don't know, maybe a whole game or a whole day and not played a point. Go out there, like, what do you think their mindset's going to be?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be like, don't mess up. And so we said, honestly, just kind of like everybody's playing really good at practice, but everybody always plays really good at practice. But you don't know what the mental state of these people of players that haven't played, even though they're pro technically.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they haven't played in a pros finals. And the only way to do that is just actually just throw against the wall and just see what sticks. I mean, we've been losing for whatever for the last for a bit now. So like, who the hell cares? Might as well
Yeah.
just throw it.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, now I was saying that I mean I was pretty much done, but I was just saying that might as well throw it against the wall and just see what's what. And then one of two outcomes will come. You'll either actually realize that okay, no, we probably should stick to like 6, 7 dudes, or we should be playing everybody.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, and it certainly, I mean, winning the tournament is a good, a good case study for playing your whole roster, especially because, like you said, I think the longer you take to play a particular player in a tournament, the more perhaps desperate they might become to prove themselves or to show their worth and value, which might lead them to make bad plays and decisions, and then kind of
Yeah.
you then go back to
Or
your
just
original
let go.
six. Yeah, that's not good. So. Let's go ahead and jump into this first point here really quick. And then if there's a point in which you want me to stop the point to talk about something, feel free. Otherwise, we'll stop the video after the first point and then we'll kind of talk about it. But let's go ahead and get started here.
They have not lost a game here at this
Watching on
event.
delay. So
Watch what? Sorry.
I'm watching on YouTube because I don't
Oh,
do a video. But
okay.
it's like a 2 seconds delay, but I'm hip.
Okay, no problem.
Impact is definitely playing as they drop their first 2 attackers.
So lose one on the snake side off the break. How difficult was that bunker to survive going out to?
Yeah, so
Which one?
The tall tower on the snake side.
The tall tower?
Yeah.
No, honestly, you should not die to that.
Okay.
And that's my teammate, but I'll say that not something. But he is he that was the guy that killed the snake guy.
Mm.
I'll give that trade. See, like, he can stop right here actually.
Okay. Stopped.
So like before, actually Brian Smith was in the middle. I don't know who died actually first on the tower, but basically this was I mean I think every other pro team and semi-pro team rolled the dice on the snake and would just run into it, and we did quite a bit too, but not nearly as much as other people. Working out like breakouts like this, you want to give obviously if you have something, you have something. You just keep running it. I'll run the snake every single point if I can, but we like if you were to watch any of their prior games, like we could consistently shoot a snake guy off the top, If you can if you can kill a snake guy at the top, then you'll see our middle guy start to creep up, and he immediately wraps the center because everybody goes short on that Dorito side because
Mhm.
really the only thing that was makeable was that can. That can's not going to play straight up because that can is not. It's not a very good battle.
The
It's
can against
essentially
the tower is not good for the can guy.
exactly, yeah, and really the tower guy, he has that shot, but Brian is not really even worried about the can. Once we kill that initial guy, ideally we wouldn't lose the guy right behind Brian, but still, Brian goes up the middle immediately. He knows that we shot one of the guys up there, so he was trying to shut down anybody filling into the snake one. You can see, I think if we see as Brian's going up, they fill the snake again. So that was interesting, and that was good on their part.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this, just really quick, a lot of this event was about reacting very quickly to which direction the home guy or the center guy was looking if he was up the middle, and being able to get a guy in the snake if you lost one. Because it seems to be that most of the time the field was flipping on this side, and that, I mean, unless the point was down to like 2 bodies on either side of the field, you'd see people running through on the Dorito. But usually it seemed like you got to get this guy to the snake too, and then it's a long battle between the guy in the snake too and the guy in the tall or the wedge at the center of the field, or maybe even in the brick. But
Yeah.
so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it was basically, it was the middle wedge versus this snake too, and for maybe 60% of the time, or maybe even 70% of the time, I was in that little wedge or the center wedge, shutting down the snake guy, and you never saw the guy actually go in there if you were the one running up there. You just knew to just get the constantly just pump pain in there. Obviously, I pump pain in there. I think some people might not understand that is they think it's just constantly shooting. You have to break up their shots a little bit, make them think that, okay, now's the time to look, now's the time to wrap, now's actually the time to go. You literally can't just full auto that thing because the guy will never go. You want him to go, so you have to go, shoot a little bit, stop for a second, shoot a little bit more, maybe shoot a little piece of the bounce of it, because there's a lot of, you can create a straight lane through in between this black and yellow and this red and blue, or I can just back up a little bit and shoot this this blue part of it, and that creates another lane too.
Yeah, that's especially when you instill like doubt in a front player's mindset that like I think it's clear, but I'm not sure because he keeps sporadically shooting at me, so I'm not really sure if he ever looks away. That's like the best way to prevent a front player from moving. So that's awesome.
It makes them force to head check.
Yeah.
Force them to head check, and if you head check, then you're submitting to me. Yeah.
Let's keep going here. Let's see what else happens the rest of this point. I don't remember how the points are traded, but
I don't know either. I haven't watched this.
Yeah, for sure.
Lackey going to get the start here as he's going to be pumping paint here through the zone of death. This has been the most important zone on the field all weekend long, coast to coast, from 50 to 50, as there's a big...
That gap was very interesting.
But it looks like because there's no one on that sideline, on that D side currently for Tampa Bay, Axel's able to hide on that side and stay away from this lane from Lackey.
Jason Edwards needs to play some offense here and get out of that queue with the 3-on-2, and they
we can stop it. No, guys, for a second.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna stop you too much, but
no, you're good. Like, whenever you want.
Ideally, I would, in the ideal world, again, I make mistakes too, and so I'm gonna point out any mistakes that I did too. Like, if I was Lackey, then I think your real play there is to almost try to wrap that, because that can is already inside. Start wrapping it when your side. I don't know if the best play is to be shooting across unless you could have for sure, like, just you see a body and you can kill it right away. But when I played the snake, basically I would look across. If there's no obvious bodies, I was looking to win the side, because this was the most dangerous thing on the field. But there's also a lot of cross shots that come right back to you. So I almost would straddle the thing on the other side of it because it was offset. It was even the little Dorito corner that was in the very, very corner of the Dorito side. And a lot of people did slip out there unnoticed, but those are, it was just kind of few and far between, and it's just much better to just hurry up and snatch it away from people.
Yeah, it seemed like he was staying a little too long on the inside of that gap, trying to pick somebody out. But like you said, your real threat is when you start wrapping on that bunker to then close out the point, or at least applying pressure to the can on the Dorito side. But
maybe he saw the snake guys play the other snake guys like body and was shooting at it. But if it was me, I'd mean, we all played different.
Hmm.
And obviously that works out. I don't actually, yeah, I think we do win the first point. So I can't really knock it because it worked out, but I'm thinking like in a perfect scenario, that should not have worked out.
Yeah, if there's ways that you can improve, definitely want to point those out. So it looks like you guys are, yeah, definitely going to close out this point by wrapping on this side. But yeah, it looks like the move here is to not try and find that guy, is to just close out here. But you'll see it in a sec.
Okay,
Yeah, Jason
so
moves up
Axel
a little
must
bit
be in
here.
the
You can see
exact
the tower
opposite as him.
Hmm.
Between Lackey and Jason, they're putting a lot of pressure on Axel, and sure enough, he gets clipped
Still
out of that
wrap
spot.
it.
That's going to leave just Matt Jackson.
Yeah, I wonder if you guys knew if there was anybody in the Dorito side, and if not, you may just been playing cautious or something. But
Maybe they didn't even show the kill.
A little bit. We've seen a little bit, but it's.
Let's
I mean,
see.
even in that last one, we saw Damian Ryan pull off a 1-on-2.
looks like they're gonna Impact's gonna try and force the flip. Yeah.
It's a low percentage play, and
There we go.
Matt tries to make multiple
I
moves,
like
put
how he's
himself in
playing
that
like that though.
position,
The
and he gets
impact guy.
so
He's
Tampa
trying to be a
Bay,
little bit smooth.
again,
No,
coming
didn't
in
work out for him.
rapid
Yeah.
Yeah, so I bet that can guy got smoked off the top. I was well, nobody. Oh, I guess Brian did go right up the middle. Actually, our can guy, because this is I forget the word, whatever. But flip flop kind of. But
Oh, like a kitty corner mirror or something. I don't know.
yeah, I was thinking of the cool word, the more technical word, but I can't think of it. And Brian or Mike Waring, really good running and gunning. We're all pretty decent, but he's really really good, and he was smoking that guy like a ridiculous amount of times.
Oh,
But
wow.
He's really fast too.
Okay, so you guys win this first point. I don't know what I don't know much about the way your guys' coaching works. I mean, I know you've had I forget his name. He's been your coach forever. I don't. What's the coach's name?
Joey Blute.
Yeah.
Joey Blute's our coach manager. He used to be more of a manager. We had like a fair amount more money. But now he actually and just like we've grown as players, like Joey's grown as players about like letting us have like a lot of freedom. So I guess your question was just how do we decide like when to what plays we're gonna go to do that. And to be honest, on my line, I think Joey called us, we're the more mentally unstable line.
Oh, that's why Eric said that in the chat. So Eric in the chat said the mentally stable and the mentally unstable line.
Yep, and what you mean is mentally stable is basic bitches, and we're the go-go line. So this is me. I believe Keith, Jacob, Brad, and Chris Horn. Chris Horn actually filled out to the can. He played the can like pretty much the entire tournament, and people don't know or people weren't there. That I just reiterated. I mean, he's so calm, so it's so hard to read. I'm like, man, no matter what, like you have to be alive over here. You're always an island. So if you have to put your gun in the air, put your barrel straight up, just that, and just scream for help or whatever. Just scream like a girl, whatever. But this is like you don't want you to die there, because you imagine if a guy dies there and then a guy makes the most obvious bump, which is coming out of that snake into that 50 wrap.
Yep, and then that whole Dorito side is gone. The home starts getting pressured super hard. You lose all of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then now we flip flop. So Edmonton Impact is on the left side, and my
your squad's up
on the
here.
other.
So I guess my question was, what is your guys' plan? What were you hoping to do, or what were you worried that they were going to try and counter you on? Was it just like, we're going to go do the same thing that we did last point because it worked, or are we anticipating a different shift in their game plan because we beat them?
No, and one point I don't anticipate any kind of shift. I mean, and I don't blame me either. If we would have lost 1 point, we wouldn't change one thing either. Because you call it a fluke, you call it whatever. Somebody just getting shot off the break like we shot. We must have shot 2 bodies because that can did die.
Yeah.
And we killed their snake guy. So you're like, okay, well, if you don't lose those 2 dudes, then I'd be interested, because I really have not watched this. It'd be surprising. I don't know.
Yeah,
well, surprising to you guys.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So are you playing this point?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go up the middle probably.
So you were right. You kill that snake guy really consistently, it seems.
Yeah, I try. And they hesitate up the middle a little bit, which kind of, I guess they're relying on that tall tower to stop our snake.
So this appears to be you right here.
Yeah, this is good that they doubled up. They put 2. This is what I kind of wanted in the beginning.
Did they put 2 in the center?
Yeah, that they were following up. See, like, okay, well then we can say they adjusted. Well, they didn't adjust with their snake guy still got shot at the break,
Mhm.
but their audible was JC instead of coming out flipping out with them, as he went a little bit a safer route and went to the cube to the side there, and while Nick went to the large cube and 50 thing. So I like this play for them. This is good.
Interesting. Yeah. And my assumption here would be that at some point, Nick Laval would try to get into the snake, would he not? Wouldn't that be?
Nah, it's too far. He would look to probably just bunker me out straight up, if anything. But
Well, he's
yeah,
he's
because
back here at this.
when you're on
He's the back here at the snake side tower. So I mean, there's obviously 2
no,
people in the
Nick-
center that can challenge you, but
I think Nick Laval's in the 50 center.
oh, is he?
Brick.
Oh, okay. I think that's his name right there, but we'll see here. Because you're right. He normally plays the center. Yeah. So that
And then
okay.
As Holliday comes through, is Holliday going to get
Oh, he should have had his gun up there.
No, he's not. If he had his gun up, I don't.
yeah,
think he
yeah, I
would
smoked
exactly
JC in the head.
spot.
Should have your gun up in
But yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have.
No,
Did you
Zach,
know that there were
you're right.
2? Did you know that there were 2 people in the center at that point when you made that move?
No, that was my big mess up. I actually did not even know the guy was that close to me. I just started. I knew I killed one body off the snake side, and anytime you see kind of break out when you only see like one dude go out, like maybe they're in the snake corner, but more than likely up their middle.
Mhm.
And actually JC, like when I just started working the same exact line. I crawled to the point where Zach is right now. So you're right, Laval is back, and that's Zach in the middle in the brick. I crawled from the wedge to the brick, and I started to start my wrap, just trying to control the snake side more, shut it down more, and then JC literally just popped the top like for a second and literally just scared me out of and just shot like one ball, and I was like, oh, I mean, yes, I did. I meant to do that.
that was my insane reaction speed and everything. Well, that's awesome. Well, let's keep going here then. Let's see how this point develops. I'm pretty sure you guys I mean, I remember the series being very back and forth and long points. So I think that Impact wins this, but we'll see. Good move.
Yeah, it looks
Really
like they're
good
going
move.
to.
knows that
It was-
Keith Brown filled the snake.
Oh,
Time for me to die.
oh man, that's such
This is
unfortunate
where-
timing.
This is frustrating. Yeah, is it? Because I remember this when I was walking off.
Oh
Gotcha.
man, you'll see it in here in a second.
I had Keith not see it.
I thought it was gonna play
But
out.
then Zach gets
Exactly.
Because, then it looks like Brad's gonna get shot.
Oh, you missed another one though.
Yeah, so
Oh,
this I remember this point being really chaotic because yeah, you guys
Oh,
looked like
wait.
you were winning the
I got shot
point.
too?
Yeah, you guys looked like you were winning the point, and so I'm not
Jesus.
sure what happened at the 50 here, but you guys got plucked out. I think they only had one body left. But let's see.
I wonder if Nick Laval, what happened to Nick Laval? He's back behind them. Maybe he kicked back to the middle.
So I think it's a 1-on-1 right now. Oh no, it's a 2-on-1, and he goes to run down.
Okay. He probably trades.
Yeah, and then one body left alive for Impact. So it was a bit of a chaotic point, but yeah, it's interesting that it happened that way. If Keith Brown had made sure that nobody was in the center, I think you guys would have won that point.
Yeah, and it was kind of timing though too, because look how fast he was going, and at the timing that Zach was starting to rotate back around because he had shot me. Yeah, I don't know who else died.
That's interesting.
You would have thought. I guess Brad shot him later, and then yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Question in the chat really quick. What % of the time are you shooting where you think an opponent will run to versus the bunker where they are located? Oh, so what percentage of the time are you shooting where you think people are going to be, or where you're shooting where people actually are, would you say?
80% I'm shooting where they're gonna go. Like if you mean off the top, like like I would like it looks like I'm running up there, but I sprint the first 4 feet and then I pull up my gun and then I'm running and gunning, and I call it safetying. I'm safetying for anybody wider than this can. So I would shoot anybody wider than they can, or I would switch and I'd shoot anybody on the snake side deep.
Okay,
So it just
interesting.
depends.
side gets a snake 1, snake 2. Good
So
move
yeah, it
from
looked
Ian.
like, I mean, pretty early in the tournament. I'll just stop really quick here as well and say, because we do have, just so you're aware, we do have a few people from the TSXL region that are going to be playing the same layout here in a couple weeks, maybe next week. So obviously, like whatever you shared, I think people are going to take that for the tournament. But it did look like nobody was going past this can on the Dorito side, and that a lot of plays were doubling up in this home bunker and
we
eventually
tried
breaking
it.
out. But
Yeah, we tried it a couple times just to kind of mix it up. Like we'd run past the Dorito, and Mikey could get there quite a bit. But it is just the safer, and that's kind of how you want to design your plays, is how much what's going to give us the maximum advantage without risking too much.
there you go.
Gets his gun up, canceled out though.
So secondary move up the center. I'm not sure who that is.
Well, looks like really good
Brian-
field position
Brian.
early on here on this bottom side on your screen for Tampa Bay.
But I remember this was a long point. This was
So
definitely the
impact also
gridlock
first
of the
L2,
tournament that you'd
and
see a
Ricky
lot.
takes some ground as they get Axel into the
Yeah,
snake. Did he make
okay.
any question?
Yeah,
TSXL?
Axel
Looks like he did.
Yep, sorry, man. Axel
Yeah,
was the offensive
TSXL is
top
the
guy.
yep.
Well,
So
that plays is
Don't
gonna have a
play.
big impact on this.
what's that? Uh-oh, your mic cut out. You're muted.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
I hear you now.
yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, boom. Got it.
Mhm.
Kobe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I was gonna say if you're in TXXL, playing against that middle guy, that's gonna be like that is gonna be the guy you're gonna battle out with. Maybe the back tower guy, but that back tower guy, you could probably just skip right past and not even head check or anything, as long as you're just a little bit quick on the crawl. But the middle guy, the best way to play the snake, if you're a snake player, is to wrap below. Like when you dive in there, don't try to play that snake 1, don't try to play snake 2, crawl all the way down and wrap the lowest part of it. Like we just saw Lackey just a minute ago. Like my opinion is probably a little bit too tall. The best person that played it against me in the snake was a guy that never popped his head in snake 2, never popped his head, because again, this guy, the middle guy, when he's going through, he doesn't ever see he barely ever sees the fill unless he slows down in the beginning. He never sees that guy even get there. So you have to just, and on the flip side, if you're the middle guy, you have to just constantly pump a gap. You have to be constantly shooting because it's only a foot away.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that, or you should know, and the other team should know that's how you win the game. That is, if you can get to that thing really quick, awesome. So you gotta, if you're on the flip side trying to defend against it, you have to shut that thing down real quick and just deny.
Yeah.
And the best way to play these is kind of like wedges things in the middle. Like Brian looks like he feels pretty confident about like controlling it like that. But honestly, what I do is I get down to the bottom to where it's squared out,
Mm-hmm.
at the very, very bottom left, on even under there, and I'm on my almost elbow, and I'm pumping it. If I don't have it, then I'll back up my body a little bit, because like the balls come so close. If I don't have it, then I just start pumping the bounce off that blue brick. And I can show people later on what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I assume it's the difference between like directly shooting the edge of this snake 2 where they'd be low wrapping versus shooting essentially the right corner of this wedge.
Or just the middle of it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
would shoot some in the middle just because people if they see paint like hitting bunkers, then it makes them maybe not want to go. You really want them to go because it gives you a chance to shoot them. So ideally, you'd want to be able to just shoot straight through the middle of it every single time. You can still kind of hear paintballs like that kind of flying past you real quick, even if they're impacting the net. But yeah.
Yeah.
In the ideal world, you just don't die.
That's interesting. That's something that I don't think we've ever talked about on stream, or at least at great length. But it seems like if you want to, that guy can survive in that snake 2 for as long as the point will last. Obviously, if he's the last body left, he's going to get run down. But like, how often were you trying to bait that guy to make the move versus just directly shooting him to contain him?
In the beginning, I was again, I call it safetying. So like safetying is just making sure just right off the cuff the guy doesn't get there. So I'm pumping it, and then after that I'm because it's only a couple feet. You do have to constantly have paint going, but I do stop for a couple minutes. I'm like, man, this guy's really not gonna go. And, I don't want to wait. You only have so much time because I'm carrying 6 pods or 5, 6 at the most. Can't shoot all 6 pods forever. Otherwise I'm
Yeah.
gonna run out here shortly. But also, I hope that not a lot of snake guys are run out there with more than 6 pods either. But he's choosing his shot, and I'm not choosing my shot. I have to focus on one shot. He's choosing.
When he
Choosing when he
engages.
wants a battle.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
good.
let's keep going here then.
Wow, you're
That's
so
a good
on the
insight.
edge.
Yep. Still got it, buddy.
Such the wordsmith.
Yep. Still.
If I remember right, this is a very long point. So yeah, he's kind of showing to get a little low on that.
Not staying back in that tower. Third player now. Matt Jackson.
Wish he was lower.
Yeah, he's a little high because of that edge right here.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
He can
just-
wrap
you
it
see
low,
such a
though,
some
those
clutch
elbows.
plays from Jackson out of this one. Really intelligent situations he's put himself in to help his team. I understand why he's drawing the start here in the finals
Yeah.
on a team that's pretty stacked.
Yep, and Impact is executing the textbook game plan on this field. They've got one player in the can on the bottom side. He's the island.
I think it's complete. Yeah, I think this is a gridlock for a while, which is totally fine. I'm curious to know if there's a. I mean, because this is gonna probably. I think if I remember right, this point lasts like this for quite a while. Is the gridlock really just this wedge to the snake? Is that where the point's gonna have to develop if everybody else stays alive? Is this conflict?
The best thing that the other team can do is the guy can go ahead and leave the wedge and try to bunker out Brian right now. So
Interesting.
like if you want, but you have to just be on with your snake guy. Like, look, when you see me go through, that means that there's no that center guy is either I either juked him or I smoked his back, and you need to go.
Interesting. Okay.
Got the gap.
And both teams mirrored up in the center, both at the wedge with Smith for damage and.
Somebody in the chat says, "What does the scan mean? Your field of view at the break?" I don't know if you'd said scan or.
No, no, I don't say scan. I just say I always said safety.
Oh, safety. That's what you'd said. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Which is just I mean, I think when I say contain, you're essentially saying the same thing, right? You're wanting to make sure that they don't cross this certain safety net or certain boundary that you're establishing.
Yeah, like most of the time when I'm sweet spotting, like I know I'm sweet spotting the for sure spots. But I'm also, but just in case, you're almost always shooting like 2 sweet spots, I guess. My main one, make sure I get a really good sweet spot, and then after that, you might see my gun turn real hard just somewhere and just throw paint somewhere just because I don't want wild ass runs.
I see. Okay.
So that's safety.
I see. That's good. That's good.
It really adds you that complexity. Like, hey, is there a third body on top? Is there a third body in the bottom?
I mean, I laugh because it's pretty amazing. But what it does is if you're Tampa Bay Damage, it's going to make it even harder to try and figure out exactly where everyone is because Matt's been in multiple positions now. Yeah. So you're like, okay.
Oh yeah, there it is. There's that challenge.
Is that the same guy or not? They don't know.
That's 6 bodies, bro.
Yeah.
He got him. Good job. I forgot about that.
The first mistake to be made is going to be Axel from that top side here for Impact.
So I feel like Smith should do something with that. Do you feel like he should get up to this wedge and wrap, or?
I think his first thing is what he'll probably do is he'll probably wrap the inside and try to contain any of the tower people. So like in between these two blocks. I don't know if that's true. It depends on if there's no one in the Doritos, then he might wrap the right side of this and contain. If anybody's in like that small temple one or the corner, then he'll wrap he'll wrap the right side. If they're just really contained in the towers, in the tall towers back there, he'll wrap the left side of this.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, we'll see what he does. He may not. I don't know if he saw it. I mean, he called out like he got the kill.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah. Okay.
He's a ridiculous gunfighter. You don't battle him. Real talk.
No, I believe it.
As Matt Jackson fills to the top side snake, great fill from Fuzzy there. Goes from the back center.
Okay, so that means that the snake corner is filled.
Okay.
This snake too, I think.
It's wobbling like
So he's back there and again.
Oh wow, yeah. Wow, good on him to play cautiously there.
Impacts has the wedge, D2.
Insert and snake 2.
Wedge, I mean the center. Brian's opposite or same.
5-on-4 situation. Yeah, this one is slowed down.
Very slowed point.
So does Jason.
Oh, I remember that. That was a very, very good patient play.
What do you shoot?
I don't know who it was on Impact.
Oh.
On his new team coming over from Energy Elite. played with Extreme, and he's been around a little bit.
They've got to have confidence starting him in this point, right, Maddie?
Oh, so as soon as he, so interesting. So Smith hears.
What happens here? Let's stop here. Yeah, like I'll say stop.
Go
here.
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
As soon as you lose that gun battle, and you see that guy just fly through your paint, then the go-to move is to leave this and go to that brick and smoke him in the side and the back. 'Cause there is no
Interesting.
protection against that. So let's see if he does it actually.
It's 1-1.
Okay.
Or he's a
They're in the
basic
finals.
bitch.
That's a big vote of confidence from.
So what Smith is doing right now is the correct play, you say, when you smoke that guy?
Yeah, no, he missed a shot. The guy's in the 50.
Oh,
So he's
that's
gotta
what you're
go to
saying.
That big brick and smoke him in the side.
I see. I see.
The question is, can he get across to this 50? As Jarula is still posted up on that spot.
Yeah, it's high risk right now. He needs to. He's really worried about the center. It looks like.
But he's safe against that.
Mhm.
The way he's playing, he's not gonna shot on the side.
What, 6 different spots here in that
Minimum.
one? I mean, he died, but that's a really
Oh
In
man.
the 50. So the snake 2 again 3 times.
Gonna be losing this
Wow.
Tampa Bay is looking real focused and dominant.
Good
right now.
point.
That's a perfect point.
Great point.
Damage. They
A
didn't
lot of
do anything,
patience.
but
What
they need
happened?
to
How
keep it up
many
because
guys we
there's
have
still-
alive though?
You guys have 5 alive.
4?
still a decent amount of time.
Unless
Oh,
you
I thought
lost
one
somebody at the
impact
very
guys.
end.
Looks like
I thought you meant that
6:20
one of the
to go
impact
and only a
guys
1 point lead
They do look
right
pretty
now for
fired
Tampa
up.
Bay.
shot one of our guys, but no, you're talking about Lackey shot the Dorito guy.
And
Mhm.
they kind of emotional.
Yeah. Lackey shot the Dorito guy when he was being patient on the wire at the snake 2, and then as soon as that happened, it seemed like Impact was trying to do something up the middle and the Doritos, or excuse me, and the snake at the same time, and then they just died out. But that was a great point for you guys.
So they're not gonna be
Lackey must went really wide to do that shot.
So when you're so again, I'm kind of going back to the question I asked earlier. So like, you're 3 points in, you're on your 4th point. It's going back to back. Is it just the same plan? Like we're going to do what's been working for us until they bust it open, or?
Yeah, I guess I didn't answer it yet. Like actually my squad we make our own place.
Okay.
So we actually like literally it's me, Jake, Brad, and Keith, and then Chris. Like, no, Chris, you're stuck in the can. That's it. And my audible was, am I gonna go to their brick off the top, or am I gonna go and shut down the snake right away? And I don't know what I did this point, but I would say that I know that the point before JC surprised me in those little bricks.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to just go ahead and snatch this away and maybe run to their side. But let's see if I just, held up like a bitch.
We will see. Man, you guys, I did not realize how consistently you were killing that snake guy. He is not living.
One of the aggressive phenoms from Edmonton Impact off the field.
Yeah, and he's been
That was
consistently
good.
attacking for them on this right-hand side of the field, Matt.
So yeah, there you are, holding down the snake.
It might be Zach.
And I don't know anybody's there. I don't know if anyone's in there. I didn't want to shot one, but they put 2-3 dudes in there.
Hmm.
Snake, he's got to try to put
Yeah, it's fortunate that you guys played as though there was a guy there, because yeah, you ended up shooting
He
a
would
guy
try
there
to
3
jump
times.
across every now and then.
Oh, he gets
But
caught.
he's-
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and JC knew it.
Was that you that took him out, or was that somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell he's trying way too hard, and I was like, yo, don't.
But,
Don't.
you know, it's and they're just kind of running.
Good
out of
move, good play.
here in this point.
I
Three
felt
bodies out
bad for
there.
him. in this situation. He was trying to win, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to see what sort of like
See how low
variations they
I
were
am?
trying to do. Yeah, you're real low right now.
First body though, Rich, to take the walk.
I'm just trying to square up my body.
And that's a big kill because he's had a pretty good event.
2 damage players taking the walk,
Ooh,
Matt.
and
3
they're
on
gonna
3
lose
now.
Horn
2 damaged
to
players. I think they said 3 taking the walk.
Got the start, I think.
Yeah, so it's only me and one other, maybe.
Let's say
Yeah, it looks like you and then somebody now that's in the tower on the snake side.
It's
Yep.
3 on 3. But better
I'm
field
gonna
position
stick
here
with
for
it.
Tampa Bay.
Oh, Zach
Oh, but they
gets
lose
caught.
Zach. So it's a 2 on 3 situation.
2 on 3 right now.
Watch to see if Holiday goes. If he can find which way Nick Laval's looking in the middle, he'll.
That you and Keith?
Field 2 on 2 here.
Yep.
3 on 2 here, Matt.
Sorry.
This is why we call it the scramble because there is no.
It's a good move right here.
and all of the
This is so
variables that are
sketch.
scrambled up
Yeah, I remember watching this.
go
Oh man.
to prevail here.
See the Doritos
He's got the
back?
highest paintball IQ.
Yeah.
And it looks like here comes
I missed my shot here.
Holiday.
No, I scared him.
Oh, he switches and he's gonna trade with the ball.
Oh, did you not get the Dorito guy? Oh, you killed him,
Yeah, I
didn't?
did.
Okay.
And then he ran down and shot Keith.
Oh, that's what. Because I thought you shot the guy, and I was like, isn't that a major penalty? Because he looked like he got shot and then ran
for what he
Keith.
found.
But,
Yeah, I mean, but I knew that I only had like maybe a couple seconds because I blew that shot on Laval when he head checked me. I was like, oh, I better hurry up and jump into this thing. I was like, oh, there's a back, and just started shooting the back, knowing Laval's gonna have. He's gonna hear my gun rolling more than like 5, 6 balls or whatever, so he knows shooting out something else. So I know I had to shoot, basically make sure I blow up on the back and then pop the top, and then hopefully Nick will be in the same spot or be coming to get me with a trade.
Yeah.
Didn't expect the Dorito guy to run down key.
So they have, who is it? They must have one player left.
Maybe.
Oh no, you take a 2-point lead. That's right.
Yeah, we have probably Jake at least.
It's been a long time, like you were saying earlier. They need this win to
Nice job.
press their team
That they really feel.
improve, you know what I mean? Like,
Let's go. Oh. So what would you say, like, how, I mean, you guys have a very, like you said, you have a lot of weapons on the team, but did you feel like this layout played in a particular strength of your team, like, or a particular player's strength on your team, or was it just everybody kind of, utilized what they were best at?
No, I mean, I think a lot of people get into the whole like I'm a 1, I'm a 2, I'm a 3 kind of thing.
Mhm.
That doesn't really exist on our team. Maybe Jason might be you could say he's a 2, but we all have played all sorts of layouts and we all know how to play everywhere. I mean, I don't know if people, if they've seen me through my career, which I've been playing pro for, I don't know, 18 years or something. I've played pro on the Dorito side forever, played Snake side forever, and middle's I just like wherever the kills are. So I saw this field and I was like, okay, I'm going middle. And Joey gives us that freedom, so
Nice.
once he hears confidence.
I think they're trying. They are absolutely trying to play.
Yeah, definitely a seasoned squad for sure.
Brick off the break
And you guys were making the Snake a lot more than Impact was, from my understanding.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't think that's the way to run to the Snake on this field.
What? Just to go straight in?
No, the way that I would get to it, I got there safe all day long, and half the time no one ever saw me, and I would blow out the game.
Would you go? I feel like you guys went to the corner a lot. Was that true?
Yes, that's 100%. Or the safest way to get to the Snake on this field is there were quite a few games where I would play this tower, and then Brad would play up the middle. So I would basically just wait, bide my time a little bit, and then I would just kick to the corner. But then as soon as I got to the corner, I wouldn't play the outside of the corner. I'd run in between the red temple right to the left of the Snake, with the corner being to the right of me, and just a straight shot. And just slide right there.
Yeah, as long as that Dorito guy's not looking at you, that's a free channel to get into there. It looks like.
And most of the time, they're not even there.
Yeah.
You can head check it anyways. You can shoot the back center guy from the corner too.
But wrapping around here for Edmonton Impact is Brandon Cornell. He wants to get to that 50. Probably
Let's see how this develops.
He can probably do it.
Definitely on an island over here. Does not want to get dinked out.
Okay, so he's on an island.
JC's hunting for it. He comes
Oh yeah, man, they're using their body advantage.
JC is still alive.
I'm surprised he lived there. I don't know if it's because nobody saw him or.
No, he got shot in the back. It looks like. Oh no, why would you turn around like that?
Yeah.
What, I'm still alive.
Yeah. It must be that he got hit and he just is trying to, like, oh ref, come get me, or yeah, exactly.
I didn't see anything, but you wouldn't turn around like that.
Okay, they won that point. Obviously, they win the next one to tie it up.
That was a legit play for them. Because
Mm-hmm.
this kid could not die, and he played it smart like that. And he shot Lackey down the line. I think Lackey came wide to try to shoot him.
I think so. I think I did see that.
Can't really knock it because Lackey shot the guy the exact same way the point before, so you just roll the dice.
Mm-hmm. Something that has been said about your squad from Maddie before, just like commentators in general, are that you guys are a very momentum based squad. You do well with momentum, and then when things are not going in your favor, they say that you seem to struggle to come back from that. Do you feel that that's true at all, or how do you feel about that sort of commentary?
No, I feel like we can play fast, we can play slow. If you get down on us, I think that I think it might be accurate. Maybe like 2 years ago, some of us on the unstable line were a little bit emotional, and not me. I'm not emotional at all, except for after the fact. I'm pretty even keeled, super calm about everything. I know I would like to think I know what I'm doing all the times. I'm overly confident. And anytime there's like where we're down on a lot of points, I was like, "Ooh, we need a 30-second point." And then I'm like, JoJo, put me in, I'll snatch this. And more often than not, I get it.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that seems to be like a hallmark of your team, of your guys' team, which I like I said, I would probably agree with that several years ago, but I don't feel that way now. I feel like you guys, I mean, very consistently are a top 4 team. You're very, for that very reason, you're very stable and consistent. I actually did not know that you had an unstable and stable squad by those names, which is pretty funny to think, but it's just interesting that that's still kind of carried with the Tampa Bay Damage name as this momentum team. But
emotion is it's good and it's bad.
mm-hmm.
I'm passionate, that's what I call it.
So it looks like they pulled up short finally on the snake side, and they sent their snake 1 dude, or typically their snake 1 Gouting. I don't know how to say his name exactly, but
Godin.
Oh, that's right, Godin.
Really, really good. He's awesome, actually.
He played for the Tauntauns forever, if I remember right.
Tauntauns and Russians. He's a really hard guy to shoot off the rig.
Really? Yeah, he's a small and fast guy.
And he's got a nice shot too. Nice snapshot. Nick is really good too. Smart player. He's really methodical. Played 10 minutes a couple times.
Did you, while we're watching this point, and certainly feel like it said, tell me to stop whenever. Did you guys scrimmage Impact before playing this event?
No, we just played each other. There's no layout. And honestly, we played a lot of hyperball. Played 10-man. The biggest thing, honestly, we did practice. Holiday.
It looks like some.
Oh wait, he does get me clean here, and I was like, fucker. Like I remember walking by, I actually walked past him and I was like, oh fucker, because that's the first time anybody. I don't mind getting bunkered, but that's the first. I expect to turn around and see my boys like lighting them up too. Because that's essentially the same thing as me bunkering them.
For sure.
I can get close enough and I got body advantage, then I'm gonna get close and I'm gonna get really, really loud because I want to magnet or pull those guys towards me. So
you relieve pressure and stuff, yeah. So this.
But he did this perfect. I'll not knock that at all. That was a perfect move. I was like, oh fucker. He's cool shit though. I like him a lot.
So it seems to be that. So I don't know what intel this is. Keith, if I'm not mistaken, and he had some intel that was causing him to pause between the snake 1 and 2.
Somebody saw Nick go there.
Okay.
But he just knew he had to get flat.
I see. Oh, that's such perfect timing. I forgot about that.
Because he can't.
He trades out, and unfortunately, yeah, Godin is in your guys' Dorito side just cleaning up. But that was a good move.
Oh, this is the tie thing. Okay.
Yeah.
This game is short.
Well, it's funny that it's a few
short,
points, but every point is long.
It's the same exact time. Yeah. Yeah, I can't knock them. They're a good team, honestly.
So then tied 3-3. So you guys, so this is the point where, yeah, you guys ran out to the corner, which seemed to work really well for you. Are you playing this point? I don't know if I'm seeing you.
No, it's stable. That's a lackey in the corner.
Okay.
Shooting cross. But when you shoot cross like this for so long, he's trying to hold that same gap. You have to constantly shoot paint, and it has to be constantly accurate. Seems like if you, well, I guess there's only 52 seconds left. You probably could do that.
So were you guys? I mean, I would imagine any team in this situation has the intention of going out and winning the point, but it's also that you don't want to throw it. But were you guys going out there saying we want to go into overtime, or we want to see if we can find an opportunity, or what were your thoughts here?
No, it's always the same. If you don't got it, don't give it. So if we don't got it off the top, don't give it.
Okay. So then obviously goes into overtime.
Makes his move. Okay. Okay, so that was overtime.
So that was the last few seconds. Now we are in overtime because you tied at 3-3. That was the last few seconds of regular time.
Okay. So the next one's a crazy one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should have watched this.
No, that's okay. I actually think having a raw reaction, not having seen it before, is even better.
See, from my perspective and what I could watch from the pits, but I don't know. 52 seconds. When I ran into the snake corner and shot across. Yeah. I don't know. I think we probably should. Did somebody go straight up the middle like I normally did off the top?
No, they delayed. I think
You
you.
had to do that.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
sent a guy. You double stacked the home, sent a guy to the can, a guy to the snake side tower, and a guy to the snake corner. But
I mean, they're probably calling their plays too. So it's really like if you ask players how comfortable are you with this, or how confident are you with this, and that's what it comes down to.
so then you guys do. It looks to be the same breakout as the point prior, with that delayed move up the center.
Foot, didn't he?
I don't know. I didn't see.
I don't know. I thought I saw some break. Little cheater.
You'll be sure to harp on him next time you see him, huh?
No, I mean, I guess it didn't. I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. That's not true, actually.
Remember, you don't apologize. You're not wrong.
Snake, that's the route that he went. That's the perfect route to get in there.
Okay.
Inside. But see, he saw the middle. Our middle guy get in the middle. That's when he released.
So trade it out. It should be 4-4 right now then.
44. Yeah, but when you see both those guys, middle guys go off, you should start seeing people move both sides. Boom, 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 boom. Because there is.
Because that containment's now gone. You can, your snake guys can do a lot more now.
If they're in there, yep. If they're in there, which I believe Lucky is.
Yeah, Lucky's in the snake. He's watching his wire right now. Is afraid of getting ran down. It looks like he probably could have gone up here, having knowing that the center guy's gone. But
yeah, okay, he's not in it. But I would not like to be on my knees versus a Dorito player.
Yeah, that's a hard fight, especially in that snake bunker in particular.
This is a big pressure moment too, though, for him. First overtime.
Question in the chat from Matt the Gym Rat says, "What is the general game plan for overtime?"
Just play 5-on-5, carry enough paint.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Look at that snake side. Look at that tower. That's a lot of pods.
Yeah, you just have to play just a straight up 5-on-5, and you have to talk like there's no other. We're 100%. We were our comms on comms, like we were just talking about figuring stuff out. I can show you a clip. Somebody sent me where we're just talking and figuring out where people are.
Yeah, I feel like what's the I mean, obviously this is what we have to work with for today and for now, but I feel like the most valuable thing in situations like this is to hear the small talk, is to hear the specific chatter that's happening about how you guys are figuring out where bodies are and how that leads to you guys blowing up on the point, because I think that's what's really, really fascinating to listen to.
Yeah, there's a difference between yelling and having a conversation, and we have conversations.
Yeah,
or try to.
You guys have been doing it for so long. I mean, I've listened to your guys', some of your raw footage I've watched. I've actually watched a lot of your guys' raw footage, and it is so fun to listen to you guys communicate, because you guys are just like you said before, you're playing out there with your brothers, and you guys are just trying to figure out the puzzle, and the only way you do that is by being very communicative and clear and not panicking. And that's the thing that's really hard, it feels like, for players to get over, is this constant yelling of a position, but it's like that's not a lot of information to be giving. It's like, we know he's there, what is he doing in there?
Shit.
Yeah.
No, there's lots of times when you can't even see your own players too. So there's like if Brian went all the way up to like third brick, then Mike playing that can, he could see Brian, but it's not like anybody on the snake, anybody that's playing in these towers could ever see him. And I remember one of the matches, one of the points there, like, yo, is Brian still alive? And Jason's like, yeah. He's like, and then he's like, is it 50 snakes there? Is it 50 snake alive or whatever? The wedge, and then Jason's like, I don't know. And then Mikey's like, no, Brian is left, like shooting left. And then you hear somebody else like, okay, then there cannot be a 50 snake if Brian's right there. And they're like, okay, cool. And then they swear.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that's just because you guys had that conversation, more people had information to know that there isn't a 50 snake, which is like, that's high level paintball right there,
And the way that the more you talk to your people, the more comfortable they are, and the more likely they are to flame out.
And not just panic and try to throw their body away, it looks like.
Like if a guy gets close to him, you'd want to just tuck in and just trust your boys to smoke this guy.
Mm-hmm. Another question before I play it here. Did you think did the layout play out as much as you guys first thought? Like when you guys walked the field, did it play out pretty much what you thought?
100% what I thought when I walked out there. I was like, okay. I saw the middle was cool, creative. I didn't think anything on Dorito side was makeable, and I thought the snake side was extremely makeable. So I was like, yeah, it was actually spot on. Which is weird because in maybe the first 4 points, because we actually watched like the first 4 points or first 4 games. There was like semi-pro teams and some pro teams, and I was like, ooh, this is not the way, guys. But
Huh.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Heat was the first one that I saw come out. And like, okay, that's how we plan to play. So I feel like we got it right.
Yeah, I feel like in a blind layout, not playing the first series is super, super helpful. But
yeah, and I don't know how you take that advantage away too.
mm-hmm. So
But I mean, we'd planned we schemed that before when we were walking the field the day before. We're just trying to confirm. They're like, okay, people are making the snake, people aren't.
yeah, you definitely have to make sure you have the intel, like you have good hypotheses before you go in and watch somebody play. Let's see, got some more questions here. Might not matter as much to pros, but did you or any of the team... Okay, so here's a question. Might not matter as much to pros, but did you or any of your team benefit from the field keeping the same handiness, no matter home or away? I assume they mean... Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they mean in that sense. Oh, yeah. It must just mean that, snake side was always your right. Dorito side was always your left.
No. Oh, no. It doesn't really work like that. I thought I meant like going right-handed down the line. Down the snake side might feel like a snake player might be more comfortable. Or I don't know.
Well, yeah. So when we were looking at the layout before the event, and a lot of people had commented on this, that if you're kind of a newer player to the sport and you're playing the Dorito side and you're not very comfortable with your left hand, that's a dynamic that you now have to deal with. I don't imagine that's a factor that you get that played at all for pros, because everybody's super comfortable with their right and left. But
yeah, I would say I'm right-handed, but I'm a better snapshot with my left hand for some reason.
Same.
It's more I think it's more mechanical because I had to like learn it. Like it's more mechanical snap. Where my right hand, it's a little more like fluid or flow. I'm just used to being able to use it in all sorts of different circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, that's interesting. For me, it's because I am cross-eye dominant. So I'm right-handed, but my left eye focuses on things quicker, and so I'm actually able to be a lot slimmer when I'm coming out on my left side, and it feels faster for that reason than I am on my right, where I have to actually, like, you would know principles of marksmanship, right? I have to like cock my head just to make sure that my eye is down the barrel, like my focal eye is down the barrel, which is interesting. But
yeah, you'll see a lot of people put their head is out a little bit more than their gun.
Yeah, but for me, I just rotate, so I'm still keeping the same profile, but I have my focus eye down the barrel instead. But that was a crazy point. So hold on, we gotta
happen. How does this happen though?
So yeah, let's figure this out.
How does he shoot 3 people? Like either way, shouldn't one side get a penalty? Like either way, it's hard to shoot it. Does he have a Uzi?
He switched his gun to full auto here. So you lose a body somewhere on the Dorito side. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like this. No, he did that perfect like that. Low crawl and then jump and hurry up and get in it.
So he gets taken out. So there's 2 impact players running towards at least two damage players. I'm not sure if you have 3 so
2
far.
middle and then 1 wide and then 1 wide straight down the top side.
Okay.
Axle.
Oh,
and
yes, I see. I see.
And no, this is just Jason alone. Round 1. Boom, shuts him.
The fact that he kills Axel here is what saved you guys in this event, it seems. I don't know, obviously leading up to this point, but at least in this moment.
Like 4 hits on him too. And I was like, how is that possible? But I think people just wanted the one-on-ones.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the refs were really fighting what happened here, so.
Neither were they. They weren't arguing it, and honestly, I was like, I don't know. I felt like I knew Axel was shot way back in the Dorito area. But whatever. People get what they want.
Let's see. Got another question here really quick. I'm just scanning chat. question from the chat. I got 2 here. Is it hard to hear when paint is being thrown your way? I would imagine it is, but I guess the question is, what do you do about it, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's not hard enough to where I can't hear anything. You got to kind of think like I've been playing with these same core guys for 15 years at pro level. So like they're in many cases more my brothers than my real brothers. Like literally, I don't know. That sounds like bullshit, but it's,
No, you've said that to me before, and I believe you.
Yeah, I mean, I told them that they could call me and just give me the code word, like pilot light and so on in the basement. There's water in the basement. That means grab some shovels and hold to my house for pick up some dead bodies.
You're willing to go down with them too, huh?
No, we're not going down. We got codes.
You got code words. You've been formulating this for the last 15, 20 years, so you guys know what's up. Another question from the chat from Matt the Gym Rat here. How was the decision made to choose who goes out for the one-on-ones?
I don't know. Yeah, every single practice that we play at, we warm up with one-on-ones, and we have like a little mini one-on-one tournament. Just one-on-one is at the very basic essence of any paintball game is, okay, when are you gonna pick your gun battles? When are you gonna shoot? How good is your shot? How good is your snapshot? How good is your read? Where the players because one-on-one is the whole point is to get lost, and not lose them.
Mm-hmm.
So and historically, I mean, Brian Smith is a ridiculous one-on-one player. I don't know if people know who he is, other than other pros know him for sure. Because they don't play him.
So you start out with him because you guys are we've got potentially one shot at this. We want to send out our guy that we're most confident in, obviously.
We have it's like the ranking order. It changes every single practice when we have our one-on-one tournaments, because we literally do a one-on-one tournament in the beginning of every single morning, every practice. And but yeah, Brian and Jacob are consistently up at the top there. Chris Horn is actually at the top there too. He's really good one-on.
Oh, good. That's awesome. That's really cool.
And Brian here, I'll give you a point. I'll just say he forgot to put air in his gun.
Did he really? Is that why he was looking down?
He's looking at his gun. He's like, why is my? You see him look at his gauge.
Yeah, I saw that. He was because he looked at his gun, and my first thought is, oh, is there something wrong with his gun? And that's sad.
even after we won, I don't think he wanted to say it. What's wrong with my gun? I was like, yeah, buddy, it's like 200 feet. I don't know. It's weird. All of a sudden.
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare! Good thing that he just bought you time then, because my goodness.
The other guy wasn't coming at all either. You don't want to get that close to Brian. Brian's one ball is ridiculous. He's so smooth.
So generally, when obviously I'm not a pro. I don't pretend to be. I consider myself pretty decent at. I consider myself pretty decent at one-on-ones, and my advice has always been, don't go in the snake. If you're fighting on one-on-one, you want to stay on your feet. Is that true? And what other advice would you give for people who want to be better at one-on-ones?
Yeah, I mean, you can go in this. The only time I would go in the snake is to skip right past it. If it was and normally you in a one-on-one, you're only gonna skip right past something if you see somebody make a big run to one side. They have to take a couple seconds to dive.
Mm-hmm.
That's my moment to burst out and hurry up and change the game. Ryan should have shot him right at this moment, at low left. Okay, never mind. Here he did it.
And why did he only bring out 2 pods? Is there a reason for that? You just thought it would end faster?
He had 4.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay. I see that. You're right.
It's a 2-minute one-on-one. If you don't win in 2 minutes, then that's very unusual, because Brian and one-on-ones, when we do tournaments, he's a hopper ball, dude.
Really? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He'll have pods with him, but I guess that's why he was shooting as much. He's like, maybe I can get this gun going back up. I was like, I don't think it works like that. But
maybe if I wait long enough, it'll re-air itself.
Charge it. He would come out and shoot one ball, and then you'd see the velocity be okay, and then.
So maybe that was the thought.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because obviously ramp, that's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. But Brian's smart enough to realize the situation. Jacob will go out there. He's part of the unstable line, and one way or another, someone is going to die. This game will be over.
Yeah, obviously and the commentary, because you hadn't seen this, you may not have heard. In the commentary, they were talking a bit about Jason concealing his starting position, which I assume was mostly
Jacob.
Jacob, was concealing his position probably mostly from the pit. I don't know. I mean, you can't really see each other very well if you just crouch anyway from one side to the other. But like, I didn't feel like that would matter too much in a one-on-one.
Honestly, he was stretching. He walked left to see who's gonna play, I think, and then after that he was just stretching. You could see him stretch his leg like he's gonna get real low, and then because he knows the next pop up is, normally you do something like this, you're gonna start real low, but as soon as the game starts, you're gonna go boom, like pop up 12 feet tall and be able to shoot that gun down on a dude. So if this guy would have ran to that Dorito can, which would have, I think. He doesn't. I don't know if he does it right away, but if he would have went to that Dorito can, he would have got smoked right up top. Maybe.
This is a good one, man.
And Jacob is talking so much good. I mean, he's all confidence. He won this thing right before, so he looks out there to see where he is. Kind of gives him the fake, but this is 25 seconds. So it's not a fake.
Yeah, see, it gets real low here. I mean, we'll call it stretching.
And then he's like.
Interesting.
And Jacob is obviously a nasty one-on-one player. They're both left-handed.
Oh, really? Interesting.
No, they're not left-handed, but they're both going left-handed.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay.
See how high he comes in the beginning, though.
Yeah, that was interesting right off the start. So good. I wish we could see where he was when he hit the shot, but man, gets that.
He's the exact opposite. He's in the first one.
Oh, okay.
There's another video out there that's from Jacob's point of view.
Oh, really?
And you can hear a little bit of Jacob's commentary before.
And
and watch these people run to the impact side. Like, oh wait, wrong side.
So
but I guess this is good for a story too.
So what do you guys do? What did you guys do to celebrate after this?
All the refs were trying to tell us to get off, and we just kind of pushed them to the ground. Like, no, this is about us. And what are you gonna do? Throw as many flags as you want. We're all gonna run out here and celebrate our boy. No, I mean, way to catch flights. A lot of the guys on teams have, or not a lot. A couple of them have legit jobs. Brian Smith is a firefighter. He saves lives. And
oh my gosh!
Trees and stuff. Yeah, this is a pretty emotional thing. There's a guy just drilling into Jacob's head and letting him know, like, hey, this is you. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you called it. I mean, people who follow you on Facebook, you said Tampa Bay Damage is going to be back this year. I mean, you guys were always, like I said, you guys have always been a top 4 team. Every single tournament, everybody's talking about, is Damage gonna make it to the finals this time? Is Damage gonna make it to the finals this time? And sure enough, you did, and you won. So that's awesome.
If you look at the plus minus, just overall, I think we came into this tournament and we're plus, I don't know, 16, 18 maybe. So the games we lost, like the last 3 tournaments, all in 1-point games. Not that it matters, we lost.
That's tragically close. That's the thing, is because that's the difference between people telling the story of Tampa Bay Damage, are they going to win this tournament or not, versus, oh, Tampa Bay Damage, they're a top 4 team. Well, can they make it to the finals? Like, that's the difference of a 1-point game.
8 and they're a joke now.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, this was the hell of a tournament to watch. It was super fun to see the chat light up and getting super excited. We have a lot of Tampa Bay Damage fans in here. I'm not sure if you've seen that when you've watched the rebroadcast. Certainly in the YouTube chat, I'm not sure how many people are here with us tonight, but
okay.
Tonlo so his name's Tonlo in the Discord server, but Carlton Lewis.
That's where I am.
Carlton
Lewis is my jam.
Yeah. He's an awesome guy. He's been a part of the community for a while now, and he's helped you guys in the pits this last event and a few other events.
He's been part of my community personally. Like, that's my boy.
That's awesome. Well, he's a good dude.
I talk to him all the time, and I've known him for a long time, and yeah, he's a legit dude, just genuine guy that I love.
That's awesome. Well, I do have one more question for you, and then I want to give you any final words that you want to say, and then obviously an opportunity for you to plug your socials and things. But one question in the chat, last question in the chat. The question was, why was it easier to make the snake? Was there just less paint coming there, or was it just lanes that are smaller? Or I don't know if you commented on that already.
No, I could show you.
Yeah,
I can't show this,
absolutely.
can I?
Yeah.
I guess you guys know how to do this.
So in
Share
our
screen.
conversation, yeah, you'll see a share screen and then whichever.
All right, let's do this.
Let's see, Discord.
Okay, so can you see this?
It's loading. It's loading right now. Let's see if we can get it to.
Your stream is running, but just pause preview. It says save resources. I don't know.
We'll give it just a second and see if it works. I hope it does. I'd be sad
Yeah,
if
it's
it
kind
did.
of a cool little tool that I mess around with.
Yeah, and I would like everybody to see this too. This is a fun thing you've shown me here and there. So maybe try. Did you try sharing the application or did you try sharing your screen? So go ahead. You are in the captain's seat. Take us away.
If you were thinking about this is the snake link. It'd be over. Well, I didn't make it over there. Basically, if you're gonna run here, so who's shooting you? Would be the only guy that was really shooting is like this back center dude, or there's this. What I would do early on in the game is I guess I was shooting this way though. Yeah, that's the snake way though. Same way. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We're pretty good at shooting off the break, but I don't want to give you that excuse. That sounds dumb. But basically, if you can, so a couple of games I wouldn't go all the way straight up there. I'd break out here, and I'm short, but I'm tall. I'd try to play this tall. And obviously I wasn't jumping, but if it was a taller player, like if it was Brad, then he could just basically just, over there, that's not enough.
Yeah, there's just not enough clearance.
So put in there. And then the battle that I was having is right here. So when you guys playing the TXL, so you can see this is that snake gap that we're trying to prevent.
So do you have to clear? From my understanding, do you have to clear that brick, or do you actually see it while you're in the wedge? Like, can you see that snake gap while you're in the wedge to the snake too?
I can see it, and I can see it. I can see a piece of it. I have to hang out and a little bit enough. It was like this, pretty much.
Okay.
It's your choice, though. I mean, you could see Brian Smith a couple times. He was playing the inside. I wasn't trying to mess with this. Then the guy wrap here. But basically, I would just come here and this is the safety.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about this is one of the impact matches, I was shooting it forever and I could tell the guy I could hear his gun rolling. So then I started
just dumping right there.
Yeah, do you hear that noise?
I don't, but that's okay. I can actually hear it a little bit through your mic, but
you can see the yellow dot turning red.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bounce shot hitting it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can see like the projectile lines and stuff.
Yeah, but like little trails, so you can kind of see.
That's awesome.
It just doesn't last forever.
That's really cool.
Yeah, on the opposite side is that if you were that snake player, the best thing you'd do is low wrap this. I wouldn't play that tall like that. Low wrap this like this and try to shoot me out. The best person did it is Harrison Fry on Infamous. He would just kind of edge it out and kind of force me. And he'd either get me or get through. If he got through, if the player got through, I said I didn't play video games. This isn't really a game though.
But then you just go up to the center.
Yeah, and then that's the guy's whole side.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Oh shit, I just blew that shot. Well, I'm not doing anything here anymore. Might as well just. Awesome. But yeah, no, this is a cool thing because you can see the bounces.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a really, really useful tool for layouts and stuff. That's really awesome. Do you guys look at
Math
this
is
together
right,
as a team,
too.
or do you just do this yourself and then provide the information?
No, I just did it myself. I didn't create the very first implication that I just added in. I added in a way that I could convert 2D flat image that you would get from like NXL or layouts, and then with some code. 'Cause I do work in technology, so like and yeah, just building 3D objects and whatnot. Um, just write the code in JSON if anybody writes code. So you can basically I can make. I mean, I don't know. I think I told you like 30 minutes before we were talking. I was like, I can build to show people kind of like a point of view. Build, I can just load it in real quick.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I'm sure the next the next layout, or when you guys are watching it, or when you're reviewing the layout after the fact. Certainly, we don't want you guys giving away your secrets prior to an event, but whenever you'd be comfortable sharing.
This I haven't even shown anybody on the team that this is what I use, or this is what I mess around with. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's funny. They might be, maybe they find out, they'll be like, dude, what the heck? Why didn't you say anything? That's cool
yeah,
though.
I mean, you probably know that I've been, or I've talked to you because you've been doing this about like how to break down layouts, how to think about playing different things. Whatever. I'm starting. Yeah, I'm starting YouTube here shortly. I'm just waiting on a couple of things. That will be. It won't be all like break down layouts and stuff like that. It'll just be kind of like the stuff that I think that some people get missed wrong. That's like crucial, like picking the right paint, how to board paint. Um, and it's not just paintball. It's other shooting sports I shoot at least like twice a week. Like real firearms, is like on a private range. So I shoot a lot there. So have a look at there. I have some friends that compete in that area too. So it'd be kind of interesting to be like, okay. And then my son plays airsoft for some reason, and and I've never played before. And I was like, yeah, maybe it'd be cool to just do a video, like I don't know if there's any correlation or
Yeah.
any relationship between the two. I don't see it in the parking lot. I can tell you that, but but who knows? But who knows? I don't know.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Guys, you heard it here. Dan,
Yeah.
watch out for his YouTube channel whenever it drops, okay? We are avid supporters. Not just me, obviously everybody in the chat are avid supporters of you, so we will be sure to follow, subscribe, do whatever we can whenever that does drop. I guess while we're here, do you have any other socials or things you want to plug before we kind of conclude for today?
I mean, the obvious is DLX. Social Paintball is a big supporter of us. DLX Lux TM40s. If you're not shooting them, you're losing.
True.
GI Sports. I mean, real talk. I don't care what you shoot. What kind of gun you shoot?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You shoot what kind of gun?
Oh, what? Sorry, you asking me? I shoot a Lux.
Yeah.
I shoot a TM40.
Okay. Oh, okay. So you know what's up. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Bunker Kings, obviously. Bunker Kings, Virtue. Like Bunker King's been with us since there was a time when Damage might not have been a team if it wasn't for Jason Edwards to kind of step up and take on like a huge role. And we all said in the beginning that we'd help him out, but like it's so much stress and unfortunate. So it was like a big win for him. So I want to obviously thank him. He's my boy. He's my brother. Lives 10 minutes away. So is Jacob. All the guys live really close. Well, and I think that's a big part of it. I want to thank my team. CJ Botsol is the team owner. He's not just an owner. He actually plays all the Florida events. He plays well, and he's committed to doing whatever it takes, and whatever it takes in his eyes is literally whatever it takes. Like there is no limit. But he's also loyal, and he knows, that he takes care of us in a big way. Powerhouse Regs. I used to think regs were just regs. They're not. Turns out they're not. I didn't know that until like maybe like 2 years ago. But they're. I mean, I don't know. That's another video I'll do. I won't just whatever. I'll prove it to you guys. Yeah, but DLX is a big one too. Just everybody that's kind of helped us out throughout and Carlton. Yeah.
Yeah,
Carlton,
big shout out to Carlton Lewis.
No, he's been my boy through like thick and thin. Like he's like rough tournament, like he's real deal. And yeah, so like whatever. He says that, that he knows me, he's my best friend. He's my best friend. That's true. 100%. So
That's
he's my one,
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thanks, man. I can't agree with you more on all the sponsors. Our Bro Army is sponsored by many, if not almost all of those companies. And
Sports, you shooting those yet?
I believe I actually don't know what paint we're shooting right now because we've gone back and forth because of pricing. So I can't speak to paint, but
yeah, sports is awesome.
Yeah, but DLX, absolutely. I love being a part of DLX. I love the DLX family, but this isn't about me. Dan, thank you so much for being on the show. I absolutely loved it. I'm sure the stream did too. I look forward to talking to you more in the Discord server and also following you on your journey with YouTube. So I look forward to that. I'm very into competitive shooting, so I would love to see what you have to say about that because I'm just a newbie when it comes to those things. So,
me too.
Well, you don't need to be so modest, but I'm sure that's not true.
I'm just gonna my YouTube down just put like pro paintball player tries firearms for the first time. What's this? Yeah, we'll see what's up. But,
that's awesome.
No, it's been fun, and I've been a fan of what you've been putting out. It's legitimate. It's genuine.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a hell of an endorsement to have somebody who's been in paintball as long as you have, especially in the pro division. So thank you again so much. Hey, I'm right behind you. I'm 30, so I may look young, but I am definitely feeling it. So, but thank you. I
look young too.
You do actually. When you told me your age, I was like, really? But anyway, thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go. It was a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right. Later,
awesome.
Gator. Thanks,
see ya.
Guys.
What a guy. What a gem of a person. Thank you guys. We still have, what time is it? 9:25. We still have some time. So if you guys, we can certainly break down more, talk more about, various things and whatnot. Yeah, Wrong King Youngsters. Love the stream. Great insight. Thanks and congrats, Dan. Thanks and congrats again. Dan is a great guy. He is, man. Carlton, I didn't know. I don't know if you told me that you and Dan were that close, which is cool. That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys have, you guys are best friends. That's really cool. Thanks, guys, everybody who was here. I really appreciate it. I know I have a lot of people. So I do have a few things that I need to tell you guys, okay? We still have time, so I'm not leaving just yet. Hopefully you're not leaving yet either. But a few things, okay? A few things. Okay, I gotta get real serious here for a second. Guys, let's keep hanging out. Absolutely. My back player guide is coming. Okay, I promise. Here's the deal. So the script is taking me longer than I expected, and I can explain to you on stream why. And I think it would be actually a fun stream to talk about. Okay, because there's a very particular point in the game that happens as a back player that is very difficult to articulate into words, okay? So the problem is that I want this guide to be as close to perfect as possible. I was really proud with the front player guide. I felt like it could have used some more depth to it, but I think hitting 6 minutes and 30 seconds long was perfect. I think the mid player guide was good, but I got overly wordy, and 10 minutes is fine. I think 10 minutes is an okay video, but there were some things that I felt like I could improve on that. And the problem is that I want these videos to stand on their own for the entire 2022 season, okay? So the back player guide is taking me longer than I expected because of a very, very, very particular part of the mid game and really the early game that is really hard to articulate. So I will show you what that is right now and explain it all. And then hopefully by doing so, it'll unlock the brain and the juices therein, and I can finally write it down on paper. Once that is finished, all the rest is like, I've got the template. I know what to do, right? I obviously have to find the video footage to accompany what it is that I've written, but I promise, when the back player guide comes, it will be good, okay? But I do need your guys' patience. I was hoping to get a video out this week before I left. I am leaving next week, okay? I am going to Disneyland, so I'm going to have a lot of fun, relax. There won't be a stream next week. There won't be a video posted next week, very likely. So, because I have from now until Sunday to do something. I've been spending all of my time on this back player guide, and I was hoping to get it out on Friday, but it's not happening. So, instead, maybe I'll just chop this video up, this live stream up, and have it be its own separate thing. So, if that's the case, let's jump into it. I'm a crackhead without my fix. I need it. Your guides are awesome. Thank you, Eric. Thanks, everyone. I go deep with this stuff. I mean, thanks. That's definitely not my other soon-to-be YouTube channel name. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's talk about it. So there's a very, very particular part. Genuinely great stream today. I will hold us over for another, hopefully. So here's a very particular part of playing the number 3 that is a very hard thing to write. Okay, it's not a hard thing to understand. It's just a hard thing to write. So what I talk about in the back player guide is that in the early game, what you're really wanting to do is conceal. This is true for pretty much every position, but it's especially true as the number 3. And it's more applicable for any division below pro, because the pros don't have a countdown timer anymore. So it's a little harder to conceal what you're doing until the last second, because you have to see, or you have to have somebody counting down the monitor. But for all of us other newbies, you can count down when the point will start, okay? So as the number 3, it's very, very important that you conceal which side of the field you're shooting or where it is that you're going until the last possible second. Because if, for example, 5 seconds into the point or 5 seconds into the countdown timer, you start to show, I mean, we could use any field. I'm just going to use this one as an example. And please don't, like, I just write lines, okay? I don't care what is possible on this layout right now. I'm just writing lines. But if you show that you're going to shoot towards the Dorito side, okay? And let's say, for example, that it was possible to make these 2 bunkers off the break every point. Well, now you might be influencing the route that this Dorito guy takes if he knows you're shooting his way. And it also might be the case that if you do this, maybe you decide to fill out, you decide to be in a dead zone because the shot is more accurate there, right? Or whatever. I'm not saying that this would be the case, because obviously we have this bunker that's blocking this right here. But let's imagine that if you wanted to shoot the front Dorito guy running to this bunker, you decided to play kind of out in a dead zone. Well, if that's the case, if the enemy team within the first, within the last 5 seconds says, hey, 3-2, which essentially, I mean, there's lots of calls. You don't have to, you don't have to have these numbers specifically. But in our case, we say 3-2. That means that in this case, if I'm looking this direction, that means that there's 3 people lining up on the I guess the Dorito side in this case, and then there's 2 people lining up on the Snake side from our perspective, which means that the home guy is pressuring the Dorito side. So that's a 3-man push, okay? If that's the case, then this number 2, to protect his number 1 running to that Dorito, is going to shoot back at the home. Whereas otherwise, he might shoot the front guy, okay? Now again, try not to get too specific about this layout. I'm talking broadly speaking. So there's a lot of audibles that smart, intelligent teams will make if you telegraph what it is that you're doing, right? So for example, if you see 2 people, we've talked about this in previous guides, if you see 2 people with their guns down on one side of the field, that's just telegraphing that they're giving up that dominance, right? Now, against a good team, they might be faking you out. They might be showing that they have 2 guns down in a running position, and when in fact the guy, the number 2 will pull his gun up very shortly after the breakout and start shooting. But just know that, like, in lower divisions, people don't really switch what they're doing. So if you see 2 guys with their guns down, it means that they're probably running, both of them. And that means that, well, maybe instead of the front guy diving into his bunker, maybe he runs and guns to the corner and shoots back at people because he can control the point at that point, right? He can control the field at that point. So it's very important, again, as the number 3, that you conceal what you're doing for as long as possible. But that's not the hard part that it takes to write. The hard part is that there is a window of opportunity. If you don't go up the center, or you don't make a deep primary move off the break, there is this window of opportunity that I talk about all the time, if you guys have watched my streams, where there's like a 5 to 10 second window where you have to read and react to what happened in the breakout, okay? And that read and react is incredibly complicated, and obviously it is a read and react. It is what is happening and what's the best move to make based on what's happening. So for example, if if a guy runs out to the Dorito corner and you kill him, and you were the one that shot him, right? You killed this guy. Well, your read and react, it has to be quick, but your read and react would be to immediately go up to this tower and to chop off this lane, to chop off this zone, okay? And just never let them get past this. Again, remember, we're speaking agnostically here. We're not speaking specifically to this layout. It's just generally true that that's what you would do, right? Because what you want to do is you want to pressure you want to maximize your advantage. Okay. So if you get a kill on one side of the field and it was the widest guy, don't let them get past this zone that you just killed them out of. Right. And then as soon as you kill this next guy, you do the same thing. You then, it might be that you make this move up here and all of a sudden, boom, you've chopped this entire field off from them, that they can't make it here now without directly killing you or putting you in and somehow making it out. Right. But even if they put you in, you can just pull back and shoot this landing zone and it's just impossible to make it. Right. So that's one example of a read and react. Another example of a read and react might be that instead of shooting the front guy, you actually bingo the guy behind him. So you kill this dude, this guy makes it out. Well, now maybe instead of running up to the center, you call, kill whatever this bunker call is, and then you just tell these two guys to get far up again, whatever calls you have, you just want to make sure you pressure this field as quickly as you can, and then you can set up some kind of long play where you've got essentially this type of containment. Oh, excuse me. You have this type of containment, and then you can just kind of do whatever at that point, because you've got a 2-versus-1 on the Doritos. Okay, you've got a 2-versus-1, which gives this front guy a lot of freedom, but it's also, we talked about this on stream with Dan. In this case, you probably want to wrap and just kind of further bully the front guy. But just know that if the front guy is alive, he is an island. If there's 3 people over here, there's 1 guy over here, this guy's an island. You have 2 options here. You can either try to reduce the pressure that you're receiving on this side of the field by playing a 3-on-3, or you can play a 3-on-1, which is, more consistently the option that you should go for. But there's just a lot of options and opportunities available to you. And that's where the tricky part comes by playing, the number 3 has a lot of decisions to make based on what happens in the breakout. Again, it's mostly based on, is there 5 alive? Did we kill one? Where did we kill them? So that's pretty hard to articulate. But past this 5 to 10 seconds, you still have a window of opportunity, but the risk to make those moves goes significantly up, because now you have to know where people are posted up, because if you make a move after those first 5 to 10 seconds of the point, you'll very likely run into a gun that's kind of waiting for you to make that move up the center. You're kind of being baited into making that play, right? And so that's why I talk, and the reason why 5 to 10 seconds works is because people are still either running to a bunker and they're diving and they're just kind of getting set up, especially as front players. If you dive into this bunker and your bunker is getting pounded, you're very likely not immediately coming up and trying to shoot a gap to kill somebody. Now, again, in the pro division, that would be the case because they would know which gaps they can shoot. But in a lot of other divisions, as soon as you get to your bunker as a front player, you're kind of chilling for a second because your bunker is usually getting pounded. You don't want to die just because, you just got the most important ground that you could take. So you're kind of chilling for a second and you're okay with what you got. So in that window, you have a lot of freedom as a home guy to make a ton of moves up the center. A ton of moves up the center in that 5 to 10 second window. So it's hard to know where to put that. Is that in the early game? Is that the start of the mid game? Because if you guys remember in my number 2 guide, I talked about how there is this window of opportunity as a number 2 where whether or not you killed the front guy or not should dictate what you do when you make your secondary move. So it's that times like 3 for the home guy. So that's the part that's taking a long time. Everything else I kind of have ironed out and squared away. It's just a lot of the read and reacting that happens in the first 5 to 10 seconds of the point is very difficult. Like, let's say, for example, you break out and you lose this dude. Well, then what you should do is just take this job. You should immediately fill out so you have a 2-man operation on both sides of the field. But let's say you killed 2 people on one side of the field and you lost this guy. Okay. Well, now this dude just becomes an island and you make a 3-man push over here, right? Because as long as you can contain them out of this zone, you're just going to flip the field on in this direction. So it's like all of that happens in the first 5 to 10 seconds because the breakout can be crazy in some points. And it's really important as the number 3 to know what the correct answer is when a certain situation presents itself, right? Again, maybe it's that you lose this guy here, but you got your teammate out alive and you killed 1 dude in the front, but you've got, you're kind of back positioned back here. So you've got 2 guys in the back line. You're here. You've got 1 dude here. It's a 4-on-4. Well, now what do? Well, you can't really push the snake way because you're in the back line on the snake side. So do you fill out here to the can? Well, you may not need to do that right away, right? It just kind of depends. Can you lock off the zone from where you killed the snake guy, right? Because if that's the case, then you don't really need to move. You can actually let the point develop a little further. Or are you able to take a move up the center to lock off that zone at an even closer angle? Well, if you do that, you run the risk of this guy dying. And as soon as this guy dies, you've got people clustered over in this corner that are going to be very hard to push their positioning. And it's also going to be very hard for this guy, if he were to backfill, which he shouldn't, it'd be very hard for him to do that. I shouldn't say he shouldn't backfill. It's just not usually a good idea to do that, right? So that's where it's like, it's super, super complicated. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like structure it and have it make sense and be kind of simple, but it's hard right now. So, all right, let me catch up with chat. Awesome hearing everything you had to say, Dan. How I feel after winning a pro event. Honestly, it's strange to say, but relieved. Happy, but relieved. I'd be lying if I said I didn't tear up a bit around 2 a.m. and say some of the picks online. That's awesome, man. The work has actually paid off. All the hours of work didn't go to waste. I can understand the relief feeling. Isolate. Yes, absolutely, Ron. You get it. When should you gunfight and when should you not? Oh my gosh. Derek, dumalang and tate. Dumalang. Don't gunfight in the beginning of a match. Just make upside. Just much upside. Surviving the first 10 seconds is key. Yes. So I told you guys that I would make this its own video, which I do plan to, but I don't have any qualms about talking about this. So I've said this before, and it's probably easier to like show it from this perspective. So I think that how you should look at this is I call it intelligent gunfighting, but this isn't like, I'm not coining this term, right? But I like to look at gunfighting as a decision between like, is this a smart play to make and is this a not smart play to make? And I think that's what people are asking, but here's how I look at it. So I've said this before, but let's say, for example, you have this standard breakout, okay? Actually, I'll just write it here. So you've got one guy here, one guy here, one guy here, one guy here, and one guy here, okay? And let's say that, how can we frame this? There's a lot of context that you can, the more context you add to your gunfighting, the more intelligent your gunfighting will be. It's just really hard to keep this context in mind sometimes. So let's say, for example, the score is, sorry, I just erased all that. The score is 3-5. You have 3 points, they have 5 points. And there is, we'll say 3 minutes left in the point, or excuse me, in the match, okay? And let's say that again, not this layout, but just in general, you know that the Dorito side is the side to push, okay? And you would know this by the time, you play the tournament, yada, 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 okay? So let's say you have this type of setup, and you know that the Dorito side is the side to push, and you've got 3 minutes left in the point when it's 3-5. You have to score 2 points in 3 minutes. This is a situation in which you have maybe at most 15 to 30 seconds to kind of chill and wait for something to happen. But otherwise, if you're this guy, you have to get help or gunfight your way out of this situation if you want to win. Okay, because let's say, for example, these are all just made up numbers, but let's say, for example, that if you got to the 50 on the Dorito side, your chances of winning the point went up by, let's say, up to 70%. Okay, if you got to the Dorito 50, you had a 70% chance of winning that point. It'd probably be higher than that. We're just making up numbers here, okay? But so long as you stay back here, your chances of winning the point are, let's say, 15% at best, okay? Because the point has to essentially develop around you, or your opponents have to make mistakes or something like that for you to win from this position. Well, if the difference between you playing here versus here is this massive percentage gap, then it makes sense that you would try to do everything you can to move up to this bunker and then this bunker and this bunker and so on and so forth, right? Because every time you move up the field in this particular case, your percent chance of winning the point goes up way higher. So this is a case in which, well, it would be obvious. I should do whatever I can to get into this 50 because I know that if I do, I have a 70% chance of winning and I need 2 points quick, right? So that informs your decision making. That's a pretty simple, straightforward thing. And really all it has to be is like, okay, I'm winning the Dorito sides. Like usually when I play heads up, I'm winning my gunfights and I've got to make something happen. We're down points. I need to do something. I need to fight. That's a pretty straightforward, like I know what I need to do right before the point starts. But here's an example where like, let's say it's 4-4. Okay. And you've got plenty of time. Doesn't matter. We're not going to say infinite, but you've got tons of time. And you need to put together what it is, you need to do to win. So this would probably be easier if we did it on the snake side this time. All right. So let's say that you are here and you've got a teammate here and you have a teammate here. Actually, you lose this guy and then you have a teammate here. Wait, we're missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say... Well, we'll actually say you had a home guy and he died, just for the sake of example. Okay? You're this guy right here. And let's say you have a guy somewhere in the Doritos. We don't even have to know exactly where he is. But you lost your center dude, and there's a guy in the 50. And honestly, doesn't really matter where anybody else is. Okay? If you're in this situation and you lose your 50, you lose the safety net from this guy right here. And that they're in the 50, well, you know what they're going to do after, right? Especially with your positioning being so far back and you're the farthest guy up. You really kind of have to do something to not just lose this point outright. Because what's going to happen if you don't do anything is they're just going to leapfrog and get to this Dorito and this Dorito, and they're going to start chopping off your teammates. And this happens a lot, is where people will just let the point end. They'll just sit in their bunkers and just let the point end around them. But if you're in this position, and let's say for whatever reason you were looking on the inside of the field and you see your teammate die, well, this is a situation in which you kind of need to hit the go button if you don't want to just lose, right? Because your teammate back here is waiting for you to do something to relieve the pressure. So if you are in this position, and let's say it's even a 4-on-3, okay? Or excuse me, a 3-on-4. Well, this is a situation in which you need to wrap, check off the cross field, see whatever body you can see, and then wrap and you need to fight this guy right in front of you. You need to gunfight him to kill him, because this is a ticking time bomb. For as long as it takes you to kill this dude to release this pressure is as long as they have to move up your side of the Doritos and just kill everybody, because they can't survive the back. They can't survive in the back, right? Again, it's hard to give you this example knowing kind of how this layout plays, but that's just generally true. If one side of the field, if you lose a lot of people on one side of the field and you're kind of far up on this side, that's your cue. I need to make something happen, or this point is we've lost this point already. If you're the guy behind him, let's say that you're this guy and you lose this dude and you've lost this guy, and it's still a 3-on-4 and they've got this positioning, you need to tell your teammate, the best way you can help is to tell your teammate, buddy, you need to go. What's stopping you? Tell me who's stopping you, who's shooting you. As soon as he tells you, do whatever you can to get into position to put that guy in, which might mean I fill out to the corner. It might mean that you go up the center, right? And then you try to challenge this guy. Whatever it takes, you need to go there quickly, okay? And the reason that you would do that in this case is because you have positioning on the snake, right? Let's say even worse for you. Let's say it's a 2-on-3. They have a guy here, a guy in the snake, and a guy in the snake corner. Here, let me illustrate this even easier. So you've got a guy here, here, and here, and you are positioned here and here. Okay, oops, that's a 1. Well, if you're this front guy, what's your weakest, what are you most concerned about? You're most concerned about them just running you down on the Dorito side and this guy just getting pinched out because of these 2 angles, right? So for as long as it takes you to decide to push your advantage, or at least get in this one-on-one gunfight, is as long as it is your teammates just at your mercy. So this would be a case in which, all right, I need to kill this guy, because as soon as I kill this dude, look at how much space we just created for ourselves. This entire area is free. All of this is free as soon as this guy dies. So as soon as that happens, boom, you flip the field on him and you've got it, right? This dude can now start playing this side of the bunker and he's totally safe at this point. He doesn't have to worry about a Dorito guy. If you're this dude here and that's the case, again, and they're positioned here and here, well, this is a situation in which you really need to have it. So what would probably happen in a very typical scenario would be that you guys would be set up like this. Okay. This would probably be how you would stop the bleeding, is be like, okay, you watch over me, I watch over you. The problem is that people stay this way for too long. So you're the guy, if you're the guy in the back, you kind of have you're in the captain's seat right now, especially if you haven't got a teammate who's not really sure what to do. So what you need to say is, hey, fight the Dorito, switch, whatever, look at the Dorito, fight him, whatever word you want to use in the moment that you guys would get, you need to tell him to switch. And then as soon as he switches, you switch. So you start looking this way and you try to stop the containment that he just gave up. And however that looks, right? It might be that it might be that what you can do. I'm not saying that this would necessarily be the case, but maybe it's that you get on your knees. Like, let's say he was in this Dorito. Let's say he was in this Dorito, your opponent. Well, look how much room you have to play. Okay. As long as he doesn't look on the inside of the field, you can step out right here. You can step out here in this blind zone. You can even get in a low crouch. And now all of a sudden you've got some pretty interesting angles. It might even be the case that you could start working your way up to the 50, keeping the Doritos blinded, and just finding these crazy gaps to kill people from. Okay, that takes a lot of intelligence. It takes a lot of field awareness. But as long as you're isolating that Dorito guy from your view, you can start making these moves to find surprising gaps to kill the snake guys. And as soon as you get in positioning, you got to launch on this dude. Okay, so it might be the case that if you run that play and you go up here and you're positioned here and here, and there's still a dude right here, and then there's guys hunkered down here and here. Well, it might be the case that you got to make some kind of crazy move happen. It might be that if your guy's still really hesitant to wrap and go this direction, you've only got one choice. You can't force your teammate to do something that he's not willing to do. So it might be that you have to take some kind of cheeky inside route. I'm not saying that this is necessarily the case in this position, because this is a really bad push, but you need to find something to kill this guy. That's all I'm really trying to say. This guy has to die. This guy has to die if you're going to win that point. Otherwise, you're just hoping that they make a mistake. You plink them out because they were too far out of their bunkers. But if you want to win more games consistently, you can't rely on your teammates to make mistakes. You have to take that point away from them. Okay. I agree with you. Don't gunfight at the beginning. Absolutely not. There's no reason to. If you're 5 alive, just let him take the ground and stay alive. You really want to shoot off the top. We shoot 4 for sure, guys. Oh, you shoot 4 for sure, guys. The 2-3 bunkers people always go to. I could care less if someone puts his throws. Sorry, there's a lot of grammar things here. If someone throws his head in the dirt, if I smoked 2 guys. Thanks for the answers. Yeah. So like, let's say, for example, I think what Dan's trying to say is this. So if you have a really consistent shot on this, let's say this gap and this gap, okay? And you can kill that super consistent. Let's say even better, you like this gap right here is probably like, we'll say 40%. This gap here is 40%, but this gap here is like 75+%, and this one as well. Maybe let's say this one's just for the sake of being interesting. This one's like 80%. Well, you're shooting these 2 gaps every single time. And if this guy, let's say, okay, let's rewrite this. Let's say you kill these 2 dudes. Nah, it's not really a real scenario. Let's say you kill this guy, and this dude goes super deep with his head down. And let's say even you kill the home guy because you shot over the top. Well, guess what? You don't actually care that this guy is here anymore because he's lost all of his support. Okay? And this is true when you watch pro teams play and when you play against them. It's true. If the back row is dying, that's really, really bad. That's really bad for you as a front player and just as a team in general. If there's any amount of the backline's positioning or survivability being threatened and actually you're killing any of these people, you can isolate and bully these people all day, right? Because all it is switching off jobs. All you need to do is make sure you've got somebody covering the wire so they can't advance. And then as whoever the center guy is, it could be the number 2, it could be the number 3, whoever it is, you guys need to be trading off jobs as you're working up the field. It could be the number 3 that gets up here and just finds this angle. And as soon as you establish this containment right here, you then free up this guy to just do this and run this guy down. Okay? Because let's say you do get 2 kills and it's a 5-on-3. Well, you best believe that this guy can stay on the wire. I'm not saying he can actually see this guy, right? Actually, I think he can in this case. But if this guy stays on the wire, just making sure this is a situation in which this guy fights, right? He doesn't want to die, but he definitely puts the pressure on because he wants to make sure this guy doesn't just get down here and kill your team. But this is a situation in which this guy would probably prefer to gunfight a little bit more than he would otherwise. I mean, you could obviously, there's lots of different scenarios you could draft here, but then this guy moves at the center, establishes this containment. As soon as he does that, this dude launches and kills. Launches, trades this guy out. So now it is a 4-on-2, and who cares where they're at here, right? Who cares? You just go this way. You win by this guy sprinting down the field, and this guy wrapping and containing this zone right here while this guy does work. And as long as this dude knows that and just these guys stay alive, you're golden. Actually, that's that's right. Okay. Thanks for the answers. Another question. I have practiced this weekend with my 3-man line. I feel like we're lacking on fundamentals. Can you guys tell me what exactly the fundamentals are and how can I practice/drill them? I was thinking snap shooting, running and gunning, gunfighting, diving, running into bunkers. Not really exactly sure, to be honest. Snap and wrap, make that first shot count, then run and gun once you make them flinch have dominance. Yeah, sorry, give me just a sec. Okay, so here's what I'd say, and then we'll probably finish with this because we're at 9:53. So I don't know if there's like, I mean, I'm sure people could make a rank order of like the very first thing you should work on is this, but honestly, a lot of it's really important. It's kind of core to paintball generally. But I would say that the very first thing is you need to be able to like snap from your bunker with proper form on both sides. So that would be the first thing I would work on, is making sure that you, and the great thing is you can do that at home and you can do it for as much as you want. So if you find a pro player that you really like, the easiest thing is find a pro player you like, mimic exactly what they do. The thing you got to remember is that there's a lot of pro players who've been playing for a long time and their form might be a little different than what like the general consensus is for how to hold your gun. The few people I can think of are like Archie, Ryan Greenspan, Blake Yarber. There's a lot of people who like hold their guns really sideways and it works for them. I'm not here to criticize them. They're much better paintball players than I am. But like traditionally speaking, I mean, even Ryan admits that he's not an amazing gunfighter, but he is an incredible run and gunner. But so take that for what it's worth. But I would say make sure you can snap from your bunker like with reasonable speed and but super proper form, both sides. Then I would work on like laning. I would work on like making sure that you're actually shooting the paint where it needs to be to hit somebody at the distances that you're shooting at, right? Like I want to hit this target here. And so I'm going to just practice shooting from the start box as many reps as it takes to hit that pretty consistently. That'd be the next thing I'd work on. And then the next thing after that would be running and gunning for sure. And I would prioritize, at an event, I would prioritize speed over accuracy, but at practice, I would prioritize accuracy over speed. I would make sure that at practice, you're able to shoot accurately while still like maintaining a reasonable speed. But like if you just constantly sprint as fast as you can and never really work on your accuracy, then you're just never going to be good at running and gunning, right? You may as well just run with your gun down. And then after that, I mean, I think you should in the background, you should always be working on your sliding and diving because that's what's going to protect you from injury. So it's kind of like, which would you work on first, that or like everything else I said? You could probably do both at the same time, right? So that's my comment there. Late to the party, dude. I've got 4 minutes left. I've got 4 minutes before I'm done with the stream. You were absolutely late to this party. Snap and wrap, make that first shot count, then run a gun. I already read that. Yes. As soon as you get really good at like if your first shot is pretty accurate, that's when you're going to start being able to make really good plays. Because if you from Division 4 till I would say Division 2, if your first shot is really accurate, you will get every person you're playing against to flinch. I mean, that's true. If you're going to hit them, they're going to flinch. But what I mean to say is if you have that skill in those divisions, you will be able to get to their 50s really quickly in those divisions between Division 4. I mean, it's true for 5, but between Division 4 and 2, you're going to be able to make bumps like crazy. And that the only thing you're going to run into at about top end of Division 3 and Division 2 is you're going to run into teams that are baiting you to make that move. So like, let's say, for example, in Division 4 and 3, you kind of get away with like, all right, I put my mirror in, and as soon as I get into flinch, I go. Okay, I'm here. I put this guy in. I wrap. I shoot the next guy, and as soon as this guy flinches, I go. You can be super successful in Division 5 up until Division 3 doing just that. But when you get to the top end of Division 3, you're going to you need to check off the middle guy. You should always check off the middle guy to be sure, but you're going to run into teams that are actually placing a guy here in the middle, waiting for you to take those big bites, or rather to take those very predictable moves up the field. And that's where you're going to reach your first hurdle is like, okay, well, I'm owning the two guys in front of me. It looks clear for me to go. when do I go now? Because I have to worry about this guy in the middle. And the way that you overcome that hurdle is, one, you should definitely head check always before you move. If you can't see them, then you need to make this move running and gunning to shoot back at this guy. And if that's not really feasible, or it's just like a really low percentage play, then you need to get the intel. You need to get communication from people as to where this guy is. So for example, like let's say you hear the God, Snakeside can't. Hold on, I gotta do it this way. So let's say you hear, as the front player, you hear there's a guy in the God. There's a guy in the Snakeside Tower, whatever that might be called. There's a guy at the home, and there's a guy in the Dorito side can. And that's the only bunkers you know. Well, would it make sense for them to have a guy right here? It depends on what division you're playing in. It's possible, but the likelihood of that is kind of low, right? In a lower division, because does that mean that they double stack the home? Or let's take an even better example. If you hear the God, the Snakeside Tower, the Dorito Tower, and let's say, for example, the Dorito 1, well, this is where like you need to know if this guy is here or not. If you do not see anybody in the back center as you try to head check it, you need to know that he's here. He is going to be in this area, or at least you have to play as if he is here. But if you hear this call out, this call out, this call out, this call out, and you head check and this guy's here, well, boom, you're good to go, right? So it's kind of, there's a lot of like, if you hear the calls, you don't have to hear all 5. You can hear at least 4 and kind of assume where the last guy might be, right? Let's say this layout was, let's say in the case that this layout was like super easy to survive here. So people were going to here and here off the break pretty consistently. And let's say you heard the God, the Snakeside Tower, the home, and the Dorito can. Well, where's this other guy? He's probably somewhere on the Dorito side, which means that you're free to go because the center guy's not here. Okay, that's like a process of elimination, which does come very natural as you kind of like think about it. It doesn't sound very natural, but it definitely is. So. Dude, thank you so much. I immediately had to write all that down so I can be prepared. The next SPP video, the snap, the rap and snap rap. Dude, if I could rap. I'm just kidding. All right, guys, that's it. Rap God. That's it for today's stream, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. I had a blast. Thanks again, Dan, for being on the show. Really, really appreciate it. Hey, guys, listen, I've got a mission for you really quick. For all 26 of you in here, do not leave just yet. If you guys want me to talk to your favorite content creator or pro player, go to their YouTube, go to their Facebook, message them, post a comment on whatever it is that they're doing and saying, hey, you should get on SVP Paintball's show. And just we'll go from there. We'll see what leads come. So obviously we don't do like interviews here exclusively. We do a lot of Paintball IQ stuff mostly. So keep that in mind. But I'm always glad to talk to anybody who wants to come on, who's got some cool things to say. So thanks again, guys, so much. Can SVP interview SVP? He can't. That doesn't work. Get Frey in here. I actually have indirect connections to Frey, but unfortunately the people that I have connections with they left Paintball recently. This is next level stuff. This is what we need. Absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for saying that. Guys, remember, if you like the channel, be sure to support it through pressing the subscribe button. That's the very first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is join the Discord server. I don't know if the command works. Hold on. I don't think the Discord server command is working. So I'm gonna post the link in chat. If you're not in the Discord server, I'm sure everybody is. Join the Discord server. I don't care if you play video games or not. I don't care if you don't have a PC. Get it on your phone. Join the Discord server. That's the second thing you can do to support this effort. Okay, you're supporting me obviously, but you're supporting this effort as well. And the third thing you can do, as always, is to become a member of the become a super valuable player or an SVP. So, and you need to get on the play the game podcast, bro. Dude, I would love nothing more to get on than to get on the play the game podcast. Funny enough, I don't know Marcelo very well, or I don't know Marcelo as well as I feel like I do Tyler. But I think I have the connections that I probably could if I talk to Mama T. But the thing is, like, those guys are interviewing people that everybody in the paintball space knows. Nobody knows me, so let's be honest. But hey, if you guys want to like mention in their comments on their Instagram videos and stuff, get SVP Paintball in there, I would absolutely be eternally grateful to you guys for that. So anyway, thanks guys so much. I'm gonna take off. I will be on I might be on tomorrow streaming some video games. So if you guys are into that, I'm playing Apex Legends right now, Halo Season 2, Halo Infinite Season 2. So be sure to join, and I'll see you guys there. Anyway, I'll join the Discord and ask them to put you on. Absolutely. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.